What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my banner review of the newer Gods Renewed banner featuring newer Ashe, newer Panne, and also Elm. So let's begin with newer Ashe, who is a blue beast this time. She's still an infantry unit and she comes with Heralding Horn as her preferred weapon. So this weapon does give her minus on special cooldowns. Bonfire becomes a 2 cooldown special and her weapon is always going to be active in the enemy phase, but in the player phase she needs the opponent to be at or above 75% HP to get the effects out of this weapon. So she can get +6 attack to herself and inflict -6 attack debuff on the opponent, and depending on the allies that are within 3 spaces of her, she's able to get different effects. So if there's one or more ally, then she's able to get the Brave effect in the enemy phase. And to get the Brave effect in the player phase, she needs to have the weapon strangle advantage against the opponent. So pretty much only against the red units she's going to be able to get the Brave hit in the player phase, but in the enemy phase she's going to be getting the Brave hits against everyone. So yeah, she got the memo of the ninja banner a bit late it seems with this kind of Brave weapon. And then if you have got 2 or more allies within 3 spaces, then she can get 40% damage reduction on foe's first attack. And then finally, if you've got 3 or more allies within 3 spaces, then she can prevent the foe from making a follow-up attack. And then she's got the standard infantry beast transformation, which can allow her to do +7 true damage whenever her special triggers, and also the tempo effect, which makes her pretty amazing for spamming specials. With this kind of amazing Brave weapon, she does have pretty good attack at base 44 with a super boon, and her stat line is pretty min-max, where she is going to be having amazing mixed bulk at base 44 defense and base 40 resistance. Her support does work pretty similarly to her original version with opening retainer, so she can allow any kind of allies in 2 spaces to move to a space within 2 spaces of Ashe. So we have seen this effect before. It's like a 2 space guidance essentially, and this is going to be really helpful in many of the game modes like Summoner Duels, in Aether Raids defense, and of course in just the general content for increasing the mobility of your units. And she does have distant reversal as well, which is just distant counter, providing the defense in the enemy phase. So it's like the defense variant of distant ferocity and distant stance. So it's pretty good that we finally have this available now. And this is going to be useful on units who just want to have a bit more defense in the enemy phase, or if they have any kind of damage reduction that is tied to their defense. So increasing their defense is going to be helpful for that. She also has attack defense bulwark as her sloppy skill, just like Askr, and this does give her some in-combat debuff, but it also has the obstruct effect, which is going to be absolutely amazing in something like Summoner Duels, and it is going to be making her a pretty amazing frontliner. And she can also restore 7 HP after the combat, so this skill does provide her with some nice longevity with the healing, and she can basically block the way and allow her allies to have the amazing teleportation. But you definitely need to watch out for Gatekeeper and Legendary Mirror, because whenever Ashe is going to be used a lot, those 2 units are always going to be used to counter her, at least her supportive effect. Overall, I would say that this kind of newer Ashe is going to be much better when it comes to the combat compared to the regular Ashe, because she's got the Brave effects in the enemy phase, which allows her to run many kinds of builds which regular Ashe simply cannot. And the 40% damage reduction is actually pretty good, because she can just take 1 hit from the opponent and then kill them back with her Brave effect. And the tempo effect does allow easy usage of steady breath, warding breath, and all of those skills. So Ashe is going to be functioning really well offensively and can also provide support with the opening retainer. For building up Ashe on a budget, you can just give her reposition and attack defense form, and you should be able to trigger bonfire on your Brave hit as long as you're transformed and you have the tempo effect. So the guard effects of the enemies are not going to be that annoying to you when you're transformed, and that is definitely a pretty important thing for Ashe. You can also use her with Sturdy Stance that we have got on Halloween Daginsia in the limited ephemera manuals. So this can be used to get the guard effect, because she doesn't really get any kind of guard effect from her weapon. So in the case that she fails to kill the opponent, this guard effect can definitely help her not get nuked by the specials of the enemies. And you can simply run her with Steady Breath and Ignis and have a much more powerful special in Ignis, destroying the opponents with her defense. So Bonfire could be run, with the regular form skill, but I definitely like Steady Breath and Ignis so that you can hit even much harder. And Aether is also something that you can run, but Ignis overall is going to be giving you much oomph with her defense. You can also use her with the finish skill. She can already get the true damage from her infantry beast transformation, so you can get even more true damage with the finish skill. Unfortunately, we don't really have access to attack defense finish as of yet, so attack resistance finish is pretty much the best finish skill that you can run on her. And whenever attack defense finish comes out, that is going to be the best option. So the healing is going to be stacking up with the finish skill and the bulwark skill, and it's pretty easy to, abuse the specials with her brave effect and also the tempo effect from her transformation. So finish skill makes for a really good premium slotty skill, and you can also just run her with bonfire or run Ignis with steady breath. Whenever we have any kind of brave effect, of course, a Vantage build is inevitable, and she is going to be functioning as a pretty amazing Vantage unit in something like Aether Raids Chaos, where the opponent's units do not really have any kind of mythic buffs, so it's a lot easier for you to Vantage, and you can just run Distant Ferocity or Distant Storm to get extra attack, and because of the fact that she's got -1 special cooldown, she can basically trigger Bonfire on her brave hit, and because of the tempo effect, this definitely is a lot easier to do. So you can run Steady Breath on her so that she can be a lot more self-sufficient, and then you can provide her the support of Winter Bernadetta to get into the Vantage range using Ardent Sacrifice. Muspel is also going to be really good for providing the true damage right there, but keep in mind that if you face Embla teams, then Muspel support is just going to be getting ignored. Legendary Eliwood is also a pretty fantastic support unit for his bonus doubler status and the Null Panic that he can give to Ashe. So all of those units are going to be pretty good, and if you don't really want to run Steady Breath, then you can simply give her the special charges status from Fallen Ninian or from Nas. And in the Chaos season, I've definitely seen quite a bit of Emblas, so depending on something like Thor's Warbreaker or Brave Lucina is probably not the best deal when we have Embla in the Chaos season available. And you can also run a build for Aether Raids defense. So this build is going to be a bit different with attack defense unity, because Sabotage attack on Elimine and Sabotage attack on Plumeria are pretty common. So this is going to be helping you not get your damage reduced, and you can make use of these debuffs on yourself, and you can also make use of the panic in case Regan panics you. So I do like the unit skills a lot in Aether Raids defense because people do use debuffs quite a lot, and you can also use lull attack defense because it is going to be helping you neutralize any kind of attack buffs of the opponent. And I think that Deflect Melee is very important skill to run because this is going to be protecting you against Thor Force teams that try to initiate Gale Force on you, and it also protects you against Summer Edelgard, of course. So this kind of build could be run on any kind of season, not just Anima. It could be used in Chaos and Dark, but Anima is definitely pretty nice because opening Retainer is not a at start of turn effect, so Elimine cannot really shut her down, which is definitely pretty nice and can give you more options for the Anima season. So having used Ashe quite a lot in Chaos season, I would absolutely without a doubt say that she's one of the top tier Aether Raids defense units because of the teleportation that she can, just enable for multiple allies at the same time. And now with this kind of build, she's able to frontline a lot better, ignoring the attack and defense debuff of the opponents, and she already gets 40% damage reduction on foe's first attack, and if the foe has got some kind of brave weapon, then you get 80% damage reduction from Deflect Melee. And trust me, Deflect Melee is very important for Summer Edelgard, who are going to be trying to Gale Force your team. So this definitely makes it a lot easier for her to function there. And finally, you could also use her in Summoner Duels as a frontliner. Now, Ashe has got amazing stat line to frontline against any kind of dragon or physical threat, and guard skill with sturdy stance is going to be really invaluable because people are going to be running units like Seliph. So guard effect does help you not get blown up by their specials, and you can also run the bulwark skill so that you can obstruct and simply use drawback to move forward and open the way for your allies while they can teleport, and you can frontline still. Rattlecatcher teams are very common, and people can also use brave effect weapon users or even Flash of Steel, which does give you the dive bomb effect. So it is going to be helping you with the damage reduction. But Hardy Bearing Sacred Seal is also an option because Legendary Nana actually cuts through the damage reduction of Deflect Melee. So if you want to take care of Legendary Nana, I would definitely suggest having Hardy Bearing because she is a blue unit. She's easily going to be able to kill Legendary Nana, and especially if she doesn't take the follow-up attack of Legendary Nana by running Hardy Bearing. So both of those Sacred Seals are pretty good for a Summoner Duels Ashe. If you do invest into her heavily with merges and everything, then she could be used at plus and merge in arena with a max scoring build with a 300 SP slot B skill in Mystic Boost, which can provide you some healing. And you can even run Seal Defense actually if you want to. That can give you the guard effect, but if you want to have the healing, then Mystic Boost is going to be the option. And she can definitely tank a lot of ranged threats in arena. And the Brave effect is going to be helping you trigger Blue Flame on your Brave hit. Year Panne is a Red Beast Cavalier this time, and she's the 4-star focus unit of this banner. She's got a pretty good preferred weapon in Keen Rabbit Fang, which does give her -1 special cooldown, and it's also effective on cavalry units. And this weapon's effect is always going to be active in the player phase, but in the enemy phase she needs to be solo if she wants to get this effect. So it's pretty similar to her son in that aspect, and she's able to get +6 attack and speed in the combat from it, and also have null follow-up, the offensive version, so she can bypass the follow-up negation effects. She can also get 40% damage reduction on foe's first attack, and then she's got a better flashing blade essentially in this weapon, which allows her to get special charges on not only her own attacks but also on the enemy's attacks. And that's why I say it's a better flashing blade, because it does have the speed check, but you do get special charges on the opponent's hits as well. And finally, she's got a standard cavalry transformation condition where she can get +2 attack on transformation, and also in the player phase she's able to have a mini impact effect which gives her the follow-up negation, and she can also inflict -4 attack and debuff on the foe in the combat. So this can definitely help her with the survivability in the player phase, and in a way she's able to have a bootleg null follow-up in the player phase because she already has the half null follow-up part in her weapon, and then in the player phase she's able to get the impact effect. So in a way she can have access to that, and also the damage reduction. So the impact effect combining with that damage reduction is definitely going to be making sure that she can survive a lot of units in her player phase. And overall this weapon is actually pretty nice. I really wish that Year Yarn had a weapon similar to this, because she just dunks on her own son's weapon with a weapon like this, which literally does his thing better, which is Gale Forcing. Because you have -1 special cooldown, you have half null follow-up, and you also have the special cooldown charge on both opponent's attack and your own, so you don't even have to worry about like heavy blade checks. She also comes with attack speed class 3 at 4-star and loud speed defense at 5-star. So this is going to be really helpful if you want to get the tier 4 version of the skill and the loud skill at the same time from Brave Seliph. So her fodder usage is mainly going to be there to make use of attack speed clash 4 on someone like Brave Seliph, or even units in future who might have it. So I'm really glad that we finally have the tier 3 version on a 4-star focus unit. I hope it also makes its way to the normal summon pool. And Year Panne overall is going to be having pretty amazing offenses with base 41 attack and base 44 speed. Both of these actually having a super boon, and she does have base 32 defense, which is honestly not that bad with the damage reduction and the impact effect that she can get. We can also compare Year Panne to the existing Red Beast Cavalry units, which are fast like her, and she honestly blows them out of the water. So we've got Year Kaden here, and also Lethe, who did get a weapon refined rather recently, and she just has a much better weapon than both of these while being a 4-star focus unit. So the most dated weapon is definitely of Kaden, where he only gets the extra speed, absolutely no offenses, and the true damage that he gets is only capped up to +7. So it's definitely the most dated weapon out of these three, and his weapon refine is definitely far away in mid 2025. So whenever that happens, he is going to be able to function a bit better as an offensive unit. We also have Year Lethe, who does have these special charges just like Panne by having Special Fighter built into her weapon, but keep in mind that she needs to be transformed to get that, and she doesn't really get the damage reduction like Panne here. She can also function a lot better with the specials like Gale Force, for example, because both Kaden and Lethe lack the -1 special cooldown which Panne has got. So overall, Panne is going to be the winner out of the 3 of these beast units as of right now, and she is going to be functioning as a pretty amazing 4-star focus unit that can function as a great merge project if you really like her. But still, cavalry beasts have their limitations and don't have access to a lot of the skills, so the usage of her is definitely going to be limited, especially competitively, but still she can function pretty well with this kind of weapon. If you want to build her up, then on a budget you can simply give her Speed Smoke 4, and this is going to be helping you with the speed check in her weapon, and you can simply run Luna and her base kit. But if you want to invest a bit more into her, then attack speed clash 4 is going to be the natural progression, and she can actually function as a more mixed phase unit with Speed Smoke 4. So on the first hit of the opponent, she's going to be able to get 64% damage reduction, which is definitely pretty good with the impact effect in the player phase and the attack debuff that she can get. And this is going to be helping with her survivability. And she can also use Ether pretty easily because of the special charges and heal up HP using that. And Neotrace skill is going to be the best lobby option that you could run on her. You can also run her with Sword Sparrow because she does have, pretty easy spammable specials. So you can easily run something like Dragon Fang, for example, and that is going to be a high cooldown special, and it is going to be giving you a lot of healing. So she's definitely going to be having really good bulk when initiating, and now she can also get the healing in the player phase. Having -1 special cooldown and getting the special charges is absolutely perfect to function as a heal force unit, especially when you also get special charges on the opponent's attacks. So she could be used as a Fury initiator in something like Aether Raids offense, and double Fury build does work on her because she doesn't really have to run Heavy Blade whatsoever, so it does not really result in an opportunity cost, and you can easily run this to get into the Wings of Mercy range. And speed defense unit traits is always going to be helpful just to get that counter utility. And if you do use her with Winter Bernadetta, then you can simply fall into the Wings of Mercy range of your allies by using Ardent Sacrifice 3 times. And when she's going to be at 50% HP, then she can easily make use of Desperation and just attack twice to get the Gale Force off. And because she's going to be at like half HP, Brazen attack speed in both Slot A and Sacred Seal is actually pretty good, even though it might look a bit silly at first, but it does work out. And you guys have seen me use this build on my Thor, so pretty much the same idea, but here you will have to Ardent Sacrifice 3 times, and you also have offensive null follow-up, so she's not going to get stopped by a lot of the follow-up negation effects or Hardy Fighter armors by having this kind of build, but Deflect Melee, which is often run to deal with Summer Edelgards, is going to be proving to be a bit annoying with a Desperation build like this, because Summer Edelgard is going to be a lot more common than Year Panne, and because of that, people do prepare for her by running Deflect Melee on like their Medius or on their Embla, so that is going to be a bit annoying with Desperation, so you can watch out for that. Finally, if you do Plus and Merger, then you can definitely use her in Arena with Beast and Trace. So this is from Year Elm, and this is going to be helping you transform a lot easily in Arena, even if you're running a lot of non-beast and non-dragon units. And this is, one of the main reasons of using the skill over the Trace skill, because you do lose out on the debuffs that you get from speed defense in your Trace, but you're able to transform easily because you remove the transformation conditions. So this is going to be really helpful to get that impact effect consistently, and also consistently Gale Force with her special charges in Arena. The final unit on this banner is going to be our Bat Boy, and he has got Fang of Finality as his preferred weapon. And he's actually a green beast flyer this time compared to being the red beast flyer from the story mode. So Fang of Finality does give him -1 special cooldown, so Luna becomes a 2 cooldown special. And this weapon is always active in the player phase, but in the enemy phase, he needs to be solo, so pretty much same as Pan and Yarn's weapon. And this does give him +6 attack and speed, and does have half null follow-up built into it, the offensive half, so it allows him to bypass the follow-up negation skills, which is definitely really helpful with his kind of speed. And you can also get 2 effects based on the number of foes within 3 spaces of the target, including the target itself. So he can get true damage based on that, and this can go up to all the way 30%. And the final effect does need him to be solo to get the damage reduction. So again, it's X percentage, which is X multiplied by 20 this time, and this can go all the way up to 60%. So he can get a lot of damage reduction and also true damage out of his speed. So being fast is definitely pretty nice, and having more foes within 3 spaces of the target foe. So this weapon overall is going to be helping him as a, beast flyer, because beast units don't really have easy access to damage reduction unless they are running speed smoke, and the true damage is definitely going to be helping him nuke a bit harder with his base 40 attack stat. He also has a super boon in it, and mostly he's going to be running with plus speed IV just like Pan. So plus speed IV again is going to be the best IV because both Year Panne and Year Elm have effects that require their speed. So plus speed is going to be the way to go. And he does have the Flying Beast transformation, which allows him to get +1 movement and also +2 attack. He also comes with a new skill in Beast and Trace, so this is basically, a Beast exclusive skill which is only available for the Cavalry Beast and Flying Beast. So don't think that you can run this on Infantry Beast units, because that is not happening. And this is basically a Kanto Neo Trace skill, but it does not have the debuffs. Instead, it removes the Beast transformation condition, so it makes it a bit easy for you to transform in game modes like Arena or like Summoner Duels, where you are going to be running units that are not Beast and Dragon units. So it does make it a bit easy to get that, and then you can also get the Neotrace effect out of the skill. I really wish there was another effect present in this so that it could really be an amazing skill, but right now it's a decent side grade to the Neotrace skill depending on the game modes, and most of the flying units are going to be liking this a bit more than the cavalry units because the +1 movement is clearly a lot more valuable than the impact effect that the Beast Cavaliers get. So you can easily run this on your flying beast units, and Elm is definitely going to be taking advantage of that because he doesn't really need to run beast agility or anything like that because he already gets the half null follow-up. So this is going to be the skill that he's going to be running most of the time. And then he's got Colorless Feud, basically to aim and hunt down Askr and Ash. There's honestly no competition for a green beast flyer because the only one that we have got other than Elm is Rayson, and he's a dancer, so he's not even, an offensive unit like Elm who's going to be hitting hard with the true damage and gets that damage reduction. So if you want to build up Elm on a budget, then you can simply give him Fury. He doesn't really have any kind of HP threshold, so this is going to be helpful, and you can easily run solo skills on him because to get the damage reduction, you need to be solo, and that's why it is going to be a pretty good Sacred Seal to be run. And you can even run attack speed solo in the slot A if you have it available. But if you want to invest a bit more into him, then you can definitely try and get some of these skills from the divine codes like Dive Bomb and Susparo 3. So you are not going to be getting the trace effect, but still with the offensive half of null follow-up and with Moonbow being a 1 cooldown special, you're going to be able to trigger this on your follow-up attack, and he is going to be able to consecutively attack and pretty much have a pseudo brave effect with the Dive Bomb. And Speed Defense Rain is going to be better than Colorless Feud, even though, Colorless Feud is definitely one of the better feud skills. Still, the Rain skill is just going to be giving you the consistent debuffs against every single foe and not just colorless foes. You can also run him with Attack Speed Catch 4, which is going to be giving him, offenses in both phases. And you can also run the Hold skill so that you can have the Rain effect in 3 spaces. So this is just a more expensive Rain skill. You can still run Rain skill if you don't really have access to the Hold skill, but this is pretty much going to be the high investment build that you can run. And if you want to make use of his damage reduction and also have much better longevity, then you can run Sword Sparrow with Attack Speed Menace, and this is going to be giving you the healing out of Luna. But keep in mind that he doesn't really have special charges like Year Panne and doesn't have any kind of null guard effect. So foes with guard are absolutely going to be stopping this kind of playstyle and this kind of build. And finally, if you are going to be investing into him extremely heavily, then Attack Speed Clash 4 is going to be the perfect endgame skill for a Beast Flyer, especially the one that can transform a lot easily with Beast and Trace. And you can also get Speed Smoke 4 so that you can get even more damage reduction in both phases. So even if the target has got low amount of foes in their 3 spaces, you can still get damage reduction out of Speed Smoke 4, which is going to be up to 40%. So this is going to be helping him function in both phases. And again, solo skill is going to be pretty amazing with his solo condition. There are not a lot of skills that you can run on a Beast Flyer. We have a limited amount, and I hope that they can get even more Beast exclusive skills in the future. He can only do the Gale for shenanigans like Year Panne because he doesn't really have these special charges in his weapon, and Flyers do not have access to Flashing Blade. So despite him being so fast, and he has to depend on Heavy Blade Sacred Seal if he wants to run something like a Gale Force build. So unfortunately, his build options are going to be a bit limited than someone like Panne, who I did go over, and he's basically going to be functioning all out offensive with an offensive slot A skill with plus speed IV, and either running a Rain skill, a Menace skill, or Speed Smoke 4 in his slot C. Make sure to share this video with your friends if they're going to be trying to pull on this banner, and if you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me a lot, and if you want to support me further, you can also use super thanks down below or become a YouTube member. And for more FEH videos in the new year, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as Flashing Blade on flying units. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.